Hey everyone, I'm jumping on today to chat a little bit about ghost pipe. So, ghost pipe right here is growing all in the forests all around our home. It's pretty common to see it on hikes and stuff here in Massachusetts, although in a lot of states it's on the to watch list as it being endangered there. So definitely not something to harvest and utilize all the time or at all if you live in one of those areas. But ghost pipe is actually commonly mistaken as being a fungus. It is actually a plant. It shares a unique relationship with mushrooms and the mycelium in the soil. It helps to get its nutrients instead of from chlorophyll, but from the exudates of the mycelium in the ground and the stuff that the mycelium are getting from the trees and plants in which it grows around. So it's kind of a parasitic-like relationship where it's taking from other sources instead of getting its own nutrients. But ghost pipe has been utilized for a long time as a medicinal plant. Many Native American tribes used it, and they used it a lot in cases where there's extreme pain, where nothing else can touch it, or where there's a great deal of anxiety that can't be touched by anything else. Another traditional use for ghost pipe was as an eye wash for eye problems. And it was traditionally smoked as well, dried and smoked. But a lot of the time, its main uses are for pain, epileptic seizures or episodes, as well as that extreme anxiety or anxiety disorders or things like that. So ghost pipe is something that if you are going to use medicinally, which many herbalists actually suggest to just leave ghost pipe as it is because it is endangered in a lot of areas. But here in Massachusetts, where I am, we have quite an abundance of it. Pretty much if you go on a hike, a mosquito came to join me and just met his demise on my camera. Sorry about that. Anyways, so ghost pipe is something that we don't typically use a lot in herbal practice because of its endangered nature, right? In many places it is not okay to utilize it, right? However, I do, as it is growing quite abundantly here in the forest where I live, but I harvest it in a sustainable manner. See, this is just one of many of the little clusters that is growing right in my front yard. But they are actually growing all around in the forest surrounding our home as well. This one just had to be quite convenient for me to come and film with. So anyways, ghost pipe, if you were to say want to utilize ghost pipe for medicine because no other plants or things have helped with your pain or supported you with your anxiety or things like that, you might want to try ghost pipe. So if you're going to harvest and utilize ghost pipe, we need to do so in a sustainable manner so that these ghost pipes can continue to flourish. Now, ghost pipe is a perennial. I typically, as an herbalist, only harvest the above ground parts, so this part that's showing above the ground. However, many traditional uses of ghost pipe are for the root or the whole plant itself. I don't want to harvest the root in any way to disturb any of these little colonies of ghost pipe. So I only harvest around 3 to 4 ghost pipe out of a colony, and then I'm leaving the rest to kind of they will send out their seeds. So they can be harvested at this stage while the flower is still curled over. Once the flower kind of unfurls and is straightened, that means it has been pollinated and has lost its medicinal capabilities. So ghost pipe is something that bruises very easily and is very, very hard to find on the market. You can harvest it to dry it to smoke or use in tea, but traditionally, or I guess I should say in modern contemporary times, we typically just will harvest it and make a tincture with the fresh ghost pipe. So you really only need about 3 to 4 of these ghost pipes to make a small little tincture with. Like I said, this is very potent medicine, only 1 to 3 drops, not dropper fulls. Okay, so 1 to 3 drops, so 1 to 3 little drops would be the maximum dosage to start with. So you don't really need to tincture a ton. So if you were to just harvest these 3 or 4 and put it in about 2 ounces of water, or not water, but vodka, I suggest like 100 proof vodka. That's typically what I use to make a little folk tincture with it. You really need to do that on site. So you'd bring your jar with the vodka already in it and cut this ghost pipe right directly into that vodka, because that medicine dissipates like as soon as it's harvested, and the Monotropa definitely brews very easily. So drying it can be quite tricky. Typically I just only will do a tincture because I don't really want to have to harvest a ton of this anyways. It is a very sacred plant. I don't want to over harvest this by any means. So some of the spiritual aspects are as a protective plant, right? It helps to protect us, helps to get rid of negative energies. It has also it also does give you very lucid dreams and make you feel sort of disassociated from pain. So that may be very helpful for some folks that, just can't seem to get rid of their pain no matter what. But yeah, so those are just some of the uses for ghost pipe. I thought I'd come on just to talk about it, but I do want you all to leave knowing that this is a sacred plant that we should approach with respect and honor. And this is not something to reach to for your first thing. Like, this is something to use as a last resort. Nothing else you've tried has touched it. Then you'd come to Monotropa, which is ghost pipe, and start out with very small doses and see how that makes you feel. For some people, it can make them feel quite nauseous and feel very out of worldly. It can make you feel very drowsy and tired. It definitely helps with sleep and sleep disorders, or people that have so much panic or overwhelming emotions or thoughts that they can't sleep. But this isn't something that we'd want to have to rely on all the time. Like I said, it is very sacred, and sustainability is definitely a concern here, right? So definitely something to utilize as needed in certain cases, right? Not something to use in large doses or all the time. But I know that we're all seeing it here in the Northeast where I am. It starts kind of popping around this time in late July and early August where I am, but it's pretty common for other states to come either earlier or later. But anyways, just a little bit about ghost pipe. I'm sure you've all been curious about it if you've seen it. It's very unique plant, as many other plants do not have this unique ability of not having chlorophyll. There is one look-alike that you want to be aware of that can be confused for ghost pipe. It's called pine sap. But the unique difference and how you can tell the difference between true ghost pipe and pine sap is that, as you can see, ghost pipe is quite white, where pine sap is more like a creamy yellowish tint to it. And it has, instead of this one little flower head, it has multiple little flowers on the stem. So that's how you would know that that is not actually ghost pipe, that is pine sap. But anyways, not really something that we would utilize to eat. It's not necessarily something that you would want to eat or consume as a food, although some Native American tribes would chew on the flowers to help with tooth pain and things like that. But it was definitely not something that they would consume as like a food. But anyways, I thought I'd just share a little bit about ghost pipe. Definitely approach with respect and honor, and yeah, I hope you all come to have some sort of relationship with ghost pipe, whether that's utilizing it or just honoring it and sitting with it, and you know, sharing a unique relationship to it. Anyways, I hope you all have a lovely day. Talk to you next time.